Peace, world. Thanks for pressing play on another Pay Me No Mind sports and entertainment video. We'll jump into some bite down boxing talk. The title of the video kind of wasn't the best because I'm really not trying to. I'm not trying to really talk about nothing that we don't already know and we shouldn't already be seeing. It's a part of the game. But again, I've been talking about this the last few weeks on a couple different podcasts that I call into. Just as as a shorter, lighter body weight, as short, small black athletes, I don't know why you continue to fool with boxing, man. I really don't know what there is to gain in this sport for black fighters. I just don't. And I keep asking the question. I don't know who to point the finger at. I don't know what to read. I don't even know who I would call on the carpet or who I would call out, because I just don't know. But if you look at a lot of these cards coming up over the next several weeks, it's not a lot of black faces involved in any of these cards. And I'm just bugging out, like damn near like black fighters don't even exist. You look at the now you got some heavyweights coming up. It's a few heavyweights that are gonna fight on April the 10th, I think, on the undercard of the ESPN top rank Joe Smith and Maxime Vlasov. They've put together some black heavyweights to throw out there. But on the rest of these cards, it's just not a lot of black faces fighting. It's not a lot of black fighters that can really even get a bag right now. I don't understand what's going on. But the one thing that I really did, in my opinion, was a real smack in the face for black boxing fans, in my opinion. This whole this pay-per-view with Areola and Andy Ruiz Jr. to come out at $50. I got a problem with that. Why every time it's some black, it's a black fighter in the main event? Why is it? I've been asking, like, why does everybody just get in at $74.99? Why I gotta pay that much for these fights? Like, I understood that Floyd Mayweather pushed the price up there, and it was a process. I watched that and I understood it. But then I see every random card that comes out at $74.99 for what? Like, what did you do to get there at that price? Why was Errol Spence Jr. and Danny Garcia, why was that shit at $74? I didn't buy it. I see all this talk about Golden Boy and the treatment of black fighters. I'm not saying it's completely unfounded. I'm just saying on that Errol Spence card, it wasn't another black fighter on that entire damn card. He got his money that night, but there wasn't another black fighter on that card. At least not on the A side. This heavyweight, this Areola and Andy Ruiz card, all Chicanos, Mexican, Hispanic. I don't know the proper shit, but ain't no brothers fighting on that card. This is the PBC. I'm just bugging out on that. Now, we saw Tony Harrison has a card coming up against Brian Peralta. I don't think there's no other brothers on that card but Tony Harrison. But back to that $50, it's almost like, what do they go look at? The average median income or something for Hispanic families? Versus when we go to do something with some blacks in the main event, we know what black We know how black people spend money. We know what we can count on them to do. We know that they don't question nothing, so we throw this $75 out here. But it's here with this. It's like, we know we got a questionable main event. Yeah, I don't know how either one of these dudes is PBC in business, or are they in black business. I don't know what the hell they in. I don't know what the PBC is in. I think the PBC is in Errol Spence business. And everything else, we'll figure it out. Or maybe we won't figure it out. But I just wish we could get that kind of consideration when it's not a great card for, when there's some black people that's involved in the top of it. How about give us a price point at like $60? Help us out. I don't get it. The other thing that pissed me off, I was trying to sort this out. What the hell is going on? Money making business. Capitalism is exploitative, basically, pretty much. The whole situation with Terrence Crawford and Sean Porter and the WBO. And we saw how things played out with Teofimo Lopez and George Kambosos Jr., that the process played out. It went to the purse bid, people could get involved and put on the fight, and they got a fight done. I've been asking the same question. Why the hell won't the WBO do anything with, why won't they move forward with naming Sean Porter as the mandatory, and then Top Rank and Crawford got to make that fight, and they got to negotiate? Why won't that happen? And I see people talking about Sean Porter has to activate the mandatory. Sean Porter has to request the or petition. I don't know all these. I don't own any fighters, or I don't work for any fighters. I ain't in the business. But I'm like, don't none of this shit sound right. The fighter has to go and petition to do something that the ranking should be doing automatically? What the hell is that about? So I go and look, and in one of the rules for holding the title, one of the bylaws or whatever the hell you want to call it, it's a little rule in there about the WBO won't make a fighter the mandatory. It's something about, it's dependent on the television partner or what the television affiliation is of the fighter that they would make the mandatory. Oh, okay. So, because Sean Porter happens to be the number 2 guy and is associated with the PBC, we just gonna sit here, basically. Like, we can't make a move, or we go farther down the list to get a dude that has a favorable television partner that something can be done. Why the hell would the WBO care about? Now that rule is there for a reason. It helps them maintain the bullshit, obviously. But as the WBO, why would you care? Why would you be concerned who a fighter's television partner is? That don't have nothing to do with you. If you make the mandatory and force their hand, then they gotta work together. But if you're gonna sit here and factor in who's in business with who, then we just sit here and we just argue about a fight that we argue about some shit that can never happen. But the funny thing is, though, Sean Porter, and for all we know, the PBC guys they're not tied to a network. So again, WBO, the fuck is the holdup? Like, go do what you gotta do and make this shit happen. But they're not gonna do it because they got a relationship with Bob and Top Rank. We saw with the Teofimo Lopez situation. We saw when when it sent the email or whatever the hell it was and told everybody, the zone specifically, hey, don't get involved with our fighter. You know, don't get involved with our business on this purse bid shit. You know, fall back, let us do our thing, let us manipulate our fighter the way that we want to. We'll give you May 8th to yourself, and let us control the costs on our fight. We'd appreciate it. And so all of this shit is just working in cahoots, because nobody wants to do anybody wrong and upset anything. So the WBO is basically, we'll play along until y'all can figure out how to get this fight done that we all want to see. Then in the meantime, Terrence Crawford is just sitting here with nothing to do. Just go on interviews and piss people off with comments because he can't fight. So then that gets us to Crawford and Ortiz, Virgil Ortiz. It's what we do in boxing. We just look at everybody and say, he could never beat me. I don't have to fight him. He's not ready. I don't have to fight him. He's calling me out, but he don't really mean it. He don't really want me. He just saying what he has to say because they put a mic in his face. But my question becomes, why the fuck you care if he ready or not? Does the check clear? Can the fight be made? And will your check clear? That's all your concern should be. Now Bud Crawford becomes promoter. Well, you know, we need to match him up with Kavaliauskas. We need to put him in there with Best Sputin. We need to get him to fight a southpaw, because you know I switch. Now Bud Crawford becomes promoter. I'm gonna build up Golden Boy's fighter because he ain't ready to face me. I ain't got nobody else to fight. I don't have no other date out here. The WBO won't make me fight Sean Porter, so I just sit here and talk. I just be a boxing analyst for until October. This shit is just corny, man. This shit is just super corny. What he gained from fighting him? I understand he don't have many options, you know. I mean, and that's why it almost makes sense. But again, you are a prize fighter. So as long as they have a prize awaiting you when you get done beating Ortiz up, you go get your prize and you move along to the next fight. What does he gain in fighting Sean Porter? He just make a bunch of PBC fans happy because he fought who they wanted him to fight. What does he get from fighting him? The one thing I say about Ortiz, what's up, Finkley? The one thing that I will say about Ortiz, you know, it's not like Ortiz is going to beat himself. You know what I'm saying? And Bud Crawford is 30-something years. He is 33, 34. He did get dropped by Kavaliauskas. Man, okay, so that means something to you. But we've already kind of seen that story before. And just like the words out of Bud Crawford's mouth were, you guys basically beat Sean Porter. A lot of people feel like you guys beat Sean Porter. So why you got to fight Sean Porter? Go fight you guys. What does Terrence Crawford get by beating old man Manny Pacquiao? We can ask this shit we can do that all day, bro. Like, Why does this make sense? Why does that make sense? Why does this make sense? Again, I started, can the fight be made? That's my whole concern. Can the fight be made? And then is your check gonna clear? That's all you can really worry about. What's the better win? I don't know. I really don't know. Like I said, Virgil Ortiz against Terrence Crawford, that's a story that I haven't seen before. I've already seen a lot of Shawn Porter's story, for better or worse, right, wrong, and indifferent. I've already seen the Shawn Porter story. Now I know and then why am I supposed to be all that excited about Shawn Porter? I don't care what they call Ortiz. So what? Lennox Lewis went and beat the shit out of Michael Grant. It happens. It's boxing. Again, I was looking at I was reading up on the history of Marvin Hagler. True, I flew on Instagram yesterday looking bananas. He was hitting the bag. Money was flying from Ghana. I couldn't read all of that, Finkley. I'm sorry. I saw your point though. I got your point, I think. I'm just saying, we're in a place in boxing where all we do, like I said, anything that you would think to go do, it's enough people that figure out a reason why you shouldn't go do it. And it's just, like I said, we just get to a point where nobody does anything. Y'all supposed to be fighters. Y'all supposed to be boxing. But dudes just sit around with no plans, no nothing. And then all of us, because we want to play armchair matchmakers, armchair promoters, we buy into all of this shit. I don't know. I mean, if you fought 3 times a year and you were fighting kind of the best dude available, then maybe at some point in time we get a fighter who's gone through enough different styles and enough different kinds of opponents, and you fought often enough to where maybe some of these guys, just because you've been fighting, maybe you not, I don't want to say you worn down, but when you just not picking and choosing when you want to fight and what styles you want to fight, it's easier to come into every fight at 100% or at your sharpest. But if you fight the more regular, some kind of regular schedule, maybe we get a situation to where all of this shit is a little more evened out than what it might look like and what it might look like otherwise. But I was saying, I was reading up on Marvin Hagler, and dude was just fighting people. Now I know that's a different age. I know it's different money out there. TV is different. I get all of that. But I'm just saying, some of this shit is just ridiculous. So anyway, like I said, if you go check out the WBO website, you can kind of put 2 and 2 together that whatever it is between Porter and Terrence Crawford, like, it's just wait and see. And I'm gonna be honest, to Latour's point. I mean, what's the better win between Pacquiao and Ortiz, or Ortiz and Porter? I just mean, you putting in all this time and energy to face Pacquiao, like, for what? I mean, that's what I'm saying. Who really wants that fight? I know it's easy to think that you can sell Pacquiao, but who really wants that fight? And I can't even say that I'd go out of my way to buy that shit. Like, for what? This man gonna be 43, 44 or something, hasn't fought in over a year. Like, we just kind of keep trying to figure this shit out and make this shit more complicated and ignore the basics of this shit. You don't get better getting older and less inactive. So again, for me to sit here and think that that fight, the outcome of that fight is going to be intriguing, I guess people just like to give their money away to these people. I guess, you know, just whatever you put out there, and as big as the names can be, I'll ignore everything that I know about boxing, and I'll give you my money. Here my $75. Here my $80. Just take it. Okay. And I guess Latour's had a couple of days to think about it, because you just said the other day that you would pay to see Crawford and Ortiz. Okay. I'm not saying, I'm just asking the question, like, when does the WBO get involved and do anything? I mean, shit, they pay you these sanctioning fees to run your rankings, to deliver fights. And now when we need a fight to be delivered in one of the best, in one of the most high profile divisions in boxing, now you sit here on your hands, with your hands under your ass, and we're not gonna do nothing. Okay. Then, like I said, all this shit in boxing, all of it makes halfway sense that you can't even argue with it. So Spence comes out and says, let me get this third belt, and then I promise all of y'all that y'all see the fight that you want to see. How much bigger does that third belt really make? How much bigger does a third belt? I mean, obviously, I guess I put my foot in my mouth. It makes it an undisputed fight. Okay. I guess. Does it make the bag any bigger? Does it make 300,000 more people buy the fight? Now keep in mind, you fight you guys, we gotta cough up $80 to watch you fight you guys. I'm not buying that fight, to be honest. I'm not no fan of you guys. Not to pay to see him fight. So it's not like you're gonna get my money out. It's not like you're gonna get any money out of me for that. Are you gonna give me the Arreola and Ruiz price point? Are you gonna give me $60 to watch you guys and Spence? Maybe I'll consider it. I've been saying the other thing with this pay-per-view shit. Again, don't overthink this shit. Like, give me a la carte option. Let me just give you $45 for the main event, and we call it even. But to give me some of these bullshit cards and want me to give you $80 for 4 fights, and 3 of them I could give a shit less about, let me just give you $45 for the 35 minutes or the 48 minutes, whatever the hell it is, for the main event, and we call it even. And that's what I mean, you overthinking this shit. Like, you think, well, we're gonna put on a main event a show between you guys and Spence. The people gonna pay for that. And then we'll come back. And by the time we get to Crawford and Spence, they probably boost that up to like $90 or $95, just because we gave y'all what y'all been clamoring for several years. And it's time to move the price point now. We want $90 now for this one, because this is the big one. But I'm just saying, I ain't in. I'm not in on the Spence and you guys. You're gonna have to do something creative for me to mess with that fight. That's what I'm saying, Finkley. I mean, I don't really. Sean Porter, good dude, great dude. He'll be on the card tonight, calling the fight on NBC Sports Network. Great dude. The Sean Porter podcast, or the Porter Way. Got no problem with Sean Porter. But I seen that story before. Yeah, I don't give a damn about Errol Spence and you guys. That ain't no big fight for me. Again, man, I'm just, man, I got better shit to do. If you put if you put I can't even put the analogy together, but you know, if you expected me to watch the Lakers, if you wanted me to watch the Lakers in Milwaukee, if you wanted me to watch the Lakers in Milwaukee 4 times a year, I don't know, by the 3rd or 4th game, I'm not gonna tune in for that shit. I think that's gonna be a good fight, man. To be honest, I'm getting ready to get off of here, but yeah, I think I was gonna talk about that, Finkley, man. I saw the women's pound for pound, and they had Katie Taylor at 1, Claressa at 2, McCaskill at 3, and then Amanda Serrano at 4. I mean, I know McCaskill just beat Braikus twice, but Braikus is washed, and Serrano got like 8 belts in 8 divisions, and just on TV with my own eyes, I can see that Amanda Serrano is a much better fighter than Jessica McCaskill. I know she might have been a little inactive and whatnot, but I got Serrano. Serrano mess around and be my number 2. And I this whole thing with Claressa Shields, Amanda Serrano fight mismatched fighters and get their ass out of the ring. Amanda Serrano beat the brakes off of Heather Hardy. She beat the brakes off of her. The other chick that Amanda Serrano fought, I believe it was in maybe Miami, she beat the brakes off of that girl. Like, I don't know what they hating on Amanda Serrano for, but she might be the best. She might be the best fighter in women's boxing. And I think if you watch her tonight, all that 2-minute shit, that 3-minute shit, all these complaints, ain't no power. I think Amanda Serrano is good TV. So I'm gonna check her out tonight. The Twitch card, if you want to watch the coverage, the fights that are gonna be on Twitch, that actually starts at 5 p.m. Eastern time on the Ring City USA Twitch channel. If you want to see any of that, and then the main event starts the main card starts at 9 o'clock on NBC Sports Network for the real boxing diehards that wanna watch everything. That's about it, man. Like I said, boxing is just weird, man. The people that sit around and overlook all this shit and accept whatever they want to do and play the games with this shit and pay them to screw you over without any type of scrutiny and without any type of concern for your own money and being respected as a consumer. I don't get it. But I ain't buying none of this shit. I ain't streaming none of this. I ain't going through no hassles for none of this shit. I'm only paying for what I want to see. And that's the end of it. I don't need to be told this is a fight. This is a real fight. This is this. But I know what I'm looking at. We all should know what we looking at. If you can't control your impulses and whatnot and respect yourself and respect your money as a consumer, I can't speak for you. But I ain't buying none of this shit till I see what I want to see. I don't need to see that's the dudes, all the dudes at 130. Gervonta, Chris Colbert, Shakur Stevenson, O'Shaquie Foster, all these dudes standing around and can't get no work. Like, this shit is stupid to me. Gary Russell Jr., dude standing around can't get no work. But then they want to go get some dude from the Philippines that you have no idea who the hell he is, bring his ass in and put him in against one of these brothers. And you supposed to clap for that shit. Like, I'm not an A-side boxing fan. Like, I don't pay just to see I don't pay to see the deer get or the gazelle get thrown in there to fight the tiger. Or the lion or whatever. I mean, that ain't boxing for me. Not all year round. I mean, damn, give me something every once in a while that's 65-35 or something. I mean, like I said, I've been watching this shit a long time. I know when some of these fights are bullshit. And you do too. Let me get on off here, man. Have a phenomenal day. Enjoy the fights tonight if you're checking out the Ring City joint. Peace.